Hey guys, my name's Dale and this is Think Fact. Lying. To make an untrue statement with the intent to deceive. That may seem like a simple enough definition, but it's extremely fascinating how people can have two ways to perceive that. Even though lying is generally frowned upon, it's extremely interesting that people can find ways to justify it, and we almost never hear them. But if we were to take a moment to even look throughout history, we would also see that lying is pretty much frowned upon throughout most societies that have ever existed. Any region that's been dominated by Abrahamic religions, pre-Christian Europe, and most of Asia. We can also find oral traditions that have been passed down through Africa, the Americas, and Oceania that also describe similar constructs about lying, being that it was typically seen as bad and people shouldn't do it. Evidence can be seen all through religions, laws, and traditions. But even with some of the earliest records going all the way to today, with pretty much every society, including ours, frowning upon lying, we still do it. Pretty frequently too. It is predicted that the average person lies about 1 to 4 times a day, and that's just through making averages of sources that all say different things. And the reason being is because different studies show that people can range quite dramatically, and many people believe that it's because people are lying about how many times they lie a day. So it can make studying something like this extremely difficult. Because who wants to admit to how many times they lie a day? So then, why is it so hard for people to tell the truth? Well, for many people it can be the only way they can confidently interact with people. Longitudinal studies actually show that people who have success in lying when they are younger can be conditioned to lie even more when they get older. The studies that started with 6-year-olds showed that the kids who were able to actually achieve what they wanted through lying were more likely to use it, and more often did they use it when they got older and older. And that makes sense on many levels. Your brain likes to do what works, and it hardwires itself to be able to make connections in order to achieve what it wants. And essentially, making a habit. Lying can be a habit. Interestingly enough though, one of these studies went as far as to ask the parents what they thought about telling the truth. 98% of them thought that it was morally wrong to lie. Now, I personally find this quite interesting and ironic. Lying is definitely not something a parent wants their child to depend on for success. People want to raise their children to be responsible. But the ironic part is that parents tend to be much more successful liars, and they tend to do it much more frequently than you would think. Well, beyond the most obvious one, which is convincing your children that Santa Claus is real and he has a sleigh and flying reindeer and delivers presents, the ones that most parents bought. The one that the magical man takes all the credit for. This is a lie that parents can justify because they believe it brings joy to their children. And the businesses you buy your gifts from would agree that it brings joy. Yeah. But even if it's not just Santa Claus, there are plenty of traditional characters that people convince their children are real, like the elf thing in the corner, or just looking around the world and seeing all these different traditions. And you can tell that people are intentionally lying to children in order to convince them to either believe something or to think a certain way. But the parents know full well that they are lying to their children. Though they don't consider it a bad thing, they're definitely lying. So to be quite honest, that might not be the best way to set our children off on the right foot. But there are also the serious lies, the lies we don't tell our children so they don't learn about something for whatever reason. Examples being a health condition that someone could be potentially suffering from, or maybe a loved one passing away. And probably the most famous one being, where do babies come from? I myself learned it in the 2nd grade from this book. And you know what happened to my little innocent mind? Nothing. I just figured that, well, cats come from cats and dogs come from dogs, so people must come from people. I just figured that's how it had to work. But of course, not all children may be prepared for that. But here's something interesting to think about then. When I was in the 2nd grade, I figured out that Santa Claus wasn't real. It just didn't add up to me. So when we were supposed to be writing letters to Santa Claus in one of our classes, I made the effort to let the kids know that Santa Claus wasn't real and the adults were making him up. So you know what happened? My teacher kicked me out of the class and told all the kids I was lying. I ended up being punished for that, for telling the truth. So obviously this specific example may not be the case for everybody, but are we still setting a good example for our children? How far are we willing to go to make sure everybody believes in a lie? And does the very fact that we lie in the first place just conditioned problems like this? Should we try the best we can to not lie to children if we can help it? I'll leave that question to you. And we can even take this and expand on a bigger topic with adults lying to adults or even society. So what if a family member puts a lot of time into making something for you, whether it be food or a clothing item or some sort? In this case, let's just say it's a chocolate chip muffin. You're really excited to have it and you eat it, but it turns out to be raisins. Now, other than the fact that you have the potential to have serious trust issues because, come on, raisins looking like chocolate chips are the only reason why they even get sold and put into muffins. Nasty. But in all seriousness, do you continue to just eat it and be kind, or do you tell them the truth? Do you say that, I don't like this, even if it has the potential to hurt their feelings? So what if you are abroad in another country and you encounter someone who's dangerous and is only dangerous towards people of your nationality? Would you lie and say you're a part of another nationality? That one might be a little bit more simple to answer. What if an extreme national security threat happens? Do you think the government should instantly inform people, or do you think they should lie and try to keep it undercover the best they can in order to keep massive panic under control? Lastly, what if scientists spot a giant object coming towards Earth with the potential to destroy everything? Do you think they should inform the populace that this is going to happen, or do you think they should say nothing and just let it happen in order to keep potentially a mass panic from happening? Lying is a very interesting thing. Besides making a video about things we shouldn't lie about, I thought I'd talk about the things we do lie about and should we lie about them and other things, just to get you thinking. Whether that just be a small lie in order to keep small talk going, or a big lie in order to keep yourself from getting harmed. Scientists show that the biology surrounding our brain has had the potential to actually benefit our species in terms of our capability to lie, essentially making the most clever humans most likely to survive. So maybe we lie because it's something we can do, because we have the capability, or maybe we lie because all the people who told the truth died out and we're just the descendants of a bunch of liars. I'll let you decide. My question to you guys is if we had the capability to completely, hypothetically, eradicate lying on all levels, whether it be good or bad, do you think we should do it? Or do you think what we have now is truly the best? Think about it. So with all that said, my name's Dale, this is Think Fact, and remember, never stop learning, and thinking, in this case. If you like my videos, please subscribe to stay tuned for more. For more videos on the facts that almost everybody missed. And there were some show that they were over 2,000 years old, and they were kept in a